Welcome to a brand new video, guys, and today we are driving F1 2011, but it's on Assetto Corsa. Now for me, I'm going to consider this a remaster of sorts. I might not put it in the title because last time people gave me flack for doing that, but for me this is a remaster because we're essentially playing an old nostalgic F1 game, which I played this game on a controller, and it was also the first F1 game where I ever used a wheel, a Logitech Driving Force GT. But we're getting the chance to drive this game on modern tech, modern force feedback with my current Fanatec or a Moser or a Thrustmaster, which is awesome. So for me, that is a remaster. Granted, there's no career mode, and that's fair enough, but in terms of a driving experience, this will handle and be far better than the original 2011 game. But before we get into the race, let's run you through the grid and every single one of the cars. Now in 2011, we had the new teams and we had a 24 car grid. On this particular track, there's a limit at 22 grid slots. Thus, I've taken off one HRT and one Marussia version. Now with that out the way, starting off with HRT Hispania Racing. In this race, we have Daniel Ricciardo behind the wheel, of course, also driven by Vitantonio Luzzi and Narain Kartikayan. A pretty iconic livery for a backmarker. No actual sponsors, but they made a unique livery attempt to kind of attract sponsors to the team. Is that Glock? Yes, it is. He's driving the Virgin Marussia, only of course one car in this race. Also in a transition phase, you know, Virgin Marussia, Marussia Virgin. In 2010 they were Virgin, in 2012 they were Marussia, in 2011 they were kind of transitioning. Same goes for Lotus, which they also were Lotus in 2010, in 2012 they were Caterham, and in 2011 they were kind of merging. Jarno Trulli and Heike Hovland still their drivers, and that concludes the new teams. Then we go to Toro Rosso, and during this era their driver pool wasn't as strong as I'd say it was in following years, but Jaime Alguersuari in his home race here at Spain, and Sebastian Buemi, their drivers. Of course, Buemi had a pretty successful career as a sporting driver. Then we go to Williams. Pastor Maldonado, his debut year in Formula 1, alongside the veteran Rubens Barrichello, which I believe was his final year ever in Formula 1. Williams at this time were not a particularly great team. Then we have Force India Mercedes. Of course, since 2009, they became a more frequent point scorer with this generation of F1 car, and they were still driven in one of them by Adrian Sutil, but this time the teammate was Paul di Resta, who I believe was making his debut in Formula 1 in 2011, replacing the outgoing Vitantonio Luzzi, who ended up in HRT. Then we have Sauber, which of course had just gone through, let's say, the disbanding of BMW Sauber at the end of 09/early 2010, and they were kind of rediscovering being an independent team for the first time, you know, since 2005. I know they were independent in 2010, but there were still some links there, some kind of things left behind. But 2011 was a real kind of refresher, with their driver lineup being Kamui Kobayashi and the debuting Sergio Perez. And to be fair, a pretty decent year for them, with some okay results, and 2012 will only get better. Next up we have Renault, and possibly Lotus Renault, who knows. Again, it was during that transition phase. In 2012 they did become Lotus Renault, in 2010 they were Renault, so the kind of naming rights, the dispute with Caterham, Lotus, the backmarker, all kind of, you know, kicked off. At the time in 2011 they were Renault, and they had, I believe, 4 different drivers officially registered during the season for them. Bruno Senna, Nick Heidfeld, Vitaly Petrov, and of course Robert Kubica, who never actually raced during the season bar pre-season. So a very weird year for them. Heidfeld's final year in Formula 1, and yeah, generally a decent car, but possibly not the best drivers for them. Top 4 times, starting off with Mercedes-Benz. Michael Schumacher, Nico Rosberg, the second year of the partnership, and after an okay 2010 but disappointing relative to 09, they were still kind of rediscovering, and this was actually their first ever F1 car, because 2010 was very much an inheritance from the 09 season. So this was their first crack. They looked quick in pre-season but ended up not being that great during the year. A couple of standout results, but generally this was not a good time for them. We then go to McLaren, and we of course are driving as Lewis Hamilton in this one. 2011, a year where they had a pretty fast car. Unreliable, inconsistent, but when it was quick, it was bloody quick, and got the only non-Red Bull pole of the season, I believe, and had some standout results. Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton, of course, their drivers. Lewis especially in a season-long rivalry with Massa during this year. Speaking of Massa, we go to Ferrari. Felipe, and of course the man who's faster than Felipe, Fernando Alonso, their drivers, a bit of a mid-year for them. After challenging for the title in 2010, they weren't that great. A good example was the Spanish Grand Prix. Alonso getting that legendary start and then actually finishing the race over a lap down. But he did win a race in Silverstone. There were some highs, but generally no one could touch Red Bull. And speaking of the devil, Multi 21. That hadn't happened yet, that was 2013, but still, Mark Webber, Sebastian Vettel, what had happened was not bad for a number 2 driver. And the tension was there in the team, but Sebastian, fresh off his first World Championship, chasing number 2, and this was probably his most dominant year ever in Formula 1. Anyway, let's get to the race. Now you guys know the drill, Assetto Corsa. It's going to be chaotic, but we have a lot to unpack here. KERS, DRS, and blown exhausts, which provide that incredible engine raspy back note, which we'll hopefully hear at times throughout the race. Off the line though, getting a good start, mostly passing the new teams as we make our way into the first few corners. Tyres are stone cold, so we don't have any grip at this stage, so we're just going to try and get our confidence up a little bit. Don't know what that flashing laser is off that car, but I don't think it's going anywhere. A little puff of smoke, thought there might have been a crash, but everybody getting through the S's in one piece as we go around the outside of one of the Saubers, and we're also going to get the run on one of the Toro Rossos, but I'm just going to back out of that one. Don't particularly fancy going side by side through Degner with an AI on Assetto Corsa. Up to the hairpin though, or Kobayashi curve as I like to call it, and we have a yellow. Someone off. Oh, there we go, there's a spinner. That's Force India. So we gain a whole bunch of places and we're into the top 10. So we've gone from 24th to 10th in a lap. Kind of signifies how the AI work in this game. Anyway, through Spoon Curve. Tyres still not fully there, but we're now catching up to, I believe, a Renault. We're going to use the KERS to try and get a run through 130R. Maybe into the last chicane. Not quite close enough though. Let's see how the car performs over the curves. Nice. That's Petrov in front. Using the KERS and now the DRS. We pull alongside as we get into a drag race. Into turn 1. Down the inside goes Lewis Hamilton. Up into P9. Right then, we've got a race on our hands. Hopefully now the AI should settle into their race rhythm, so now we should get some racing. Here we go. Up next, Michael Schumacher, the battle of the 7-time champions. Hamilton making light work of that one as we head into the Degner, now behind Quick Nick Heidfeld. Use some KERS to try and have a look into the hairpin. Can I get the car stopped? Yes, we can. Up to 7th, absolutely flying around it. To be fair, I've got no idea how much KERS we have. I'm just kind of guessing really, but up to 7th. As we head through Spoon. Keeping on the tyre wear. We've been struggling with tyre wear for the last few of these videos. In that bar on the bottom left. As we look to close in on Nico Rosberg in the other Mercedes. Here we go. Let's try and get close through here. Oh, back end getting a bit loose there. KERS, DRS. Just not quite close enough to challenge for a move here. Going to get a switch back. And the exit out of 2. Rosberg's still there. You can see on the little Delta animation where the Vodafone logo is. He's directly side by side with us. Still going side by side, but now we go around the outside at Dunlop and we're into the top 6. So good progress being made. Bit of side by side here. Well, I thought there was into 130R. That Ferrari taking a bit of a defensive line. We've caught right up to this train. So we're going to make some more moves, starting out with Felipe Massa here in the Ferrari. Let's see if we can try and get by. Got plenty of time to get all of these guys and win this race. Bouncing off the limiter there as we set up the exit, but we just get blocked, so we lose momentum at the crucial time. Let's try and set Massa up here. We know we're strong through Dunlop. There we go, Massa opens the door, and we'll use Kurz on the inside to go through and get ahead of Lewis's 2011 rival through the second Dunlop, or the second Degner, sorry. We get close to Alonso, Lewis's 2007 rival, and now up the inside, getting that move done as well. So we chalk off the Ferraris in a lap, and now we're behind JB, Jenson Button. Let's try and see if we can look for a move here. Great exit out Spoon in the slipstream. Side by side, we're going to get a double toe, but we're going to get boxed in with the Red Bull. I think that's Sebastian Vettel. Oh my god. Brake check into 130R. Dirty tyres, just trying to regather composure and clean the tyres off a little bit. So Button going through. I think that was Seb Vettel. We'll confirm it in a bit. On to lap 5, half race distance. Let's try and close back in on these boys. We've got a yellow. Not sure if that's ahead or behind. I think it's ahead. Yep, definitely some smoke, some grass and gravel being kicked up. And we've got a backwards Force India, a lap down. So he's having an absolute horror show today, being a lap down after 5 laps. And I think there's another, is that another Force India? Is that Button? That's Button making a move. So Button's getting by easily. Is that another lap car? Some of these AI are getting a lot of trouble around here. Anyway, at the moment, we're trying to get Alonso. We're just a bit far back here, I think. Alonso actually having a look at the Red Bull. We'll try and set up the exit. But Alonso gets off pretty well off the corner, to be fair. Using a lot of curves to get a run here into Spoon. Up the inside. Oh, that's a bit risky from us there. That's a bit of a naughty move. Ran Alonso well while we locked on, which explains part of the reason why I just went off as much as I did. I was turning the wheel, but we locked tyres. Either way, we clear Alonso in controversial fashion. Now we've got a huge run on Sebastian Vettel, I believe. The defending champion Seb getting all out of shape on the exit, but so we are trying to find the traction. DRS. Here we go. Breezing past the Red Bull. And we have got more lap traffic in front of us. So we've got a Renault and a HRT here that we're going to have to deal with. So Jenson Button making a break. No blue flag, so we're going to have to get past on track here and clear these boys. Oh my god, that's a bit sketchy. Come on guys, come on. We'll try and go underneath here. Use the curves. There we go. P3. Bit of clean air. There's Jenson Button. So both McLarens on the podium. Let's try and close in if possible. Oh, every time through there, I just can't put the gear in. Every time I go from second to third, it snaps on us. Might have to try and short shift out of there. 2 laps to go. Also trying to let you guys enjoy some engine sound, of course, with these blown diffusers. But why are we struggling on the rear end so much now all of a sudden? Another good catch, but now we've got dirty tyres. We lost a lot of ground to Jensen. And whoever's P1 is doing a fine job. I think it's Webber. It's got to be Mark Webber, right? Either way, let's get back on our bike. Let's try and catch back up if possible. Lap and a half to go here. Full send. We've made a race out of this. What an incredible last lap. We're there. We're right there. You can see our tyres now have dropped into the yellow in the bottom left, so tyre wear kicking in. We are now behind Jensen Button and Mark Webber, and we've got the curves, we've got the run here on JB. We're going to try and pass our teammate into Spoon. Around the outside we go. Only one car separates us from the race win. Mark Webber, here we go. Any curves, I'm using it right now to try and close in to get some sort of a slipstream through 130R. Webber though holds on the brakes. I'm going to try and set up the exit possibly. Short shift to third, but we're not great here, so I think Webber's going to hold on just. He does, and it's second place. Well, there we go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that video and that race. Suzuka always provides fun action. The AI actually not too bad, pretty clean. I was expecting a lot worse. I did try some other tracks and it didn't go as well, so clearly running an actual Assetto Corsa circuit does massively help. But guys, I'm going to leave the mod down below for the car and the circuit. Give them a go. Let me know what you think, and have you tried this mod? There's also other ones for 2012, 2010. We've also covered 2008, 2007 with the same modder. So I'll leave all the links down below, guys. Go check those out. Well, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel, the content. And I'll see you guys, as always, in the comments. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, guys, cheers for watching. And I'll see you next time. Take care. And let's go back from me. Adios.